morning and welcome to our live talk program. This is Lloyd Graham here, your host on Revive Reform Radio, doing a live talk program covering the importance of church on this here Tuesday morning. Rise and shine and give God the glory. And this morning here, I'm looking at a topic: the trumpet should be given a certain sound right now. So the trumpet should be given a certain sound right now. So welcome. Hopefully you had a blessed night resting, ready to take on the challenges of today. Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, I thank you for the blessings of life and for the blessings, dear Lord, of knowing, dear Lord, the true religion, knowing, dear Father, the word, and coming to know your Son. May you bless us, dear Father, that we might walk in your spirit and in your truth. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. So my topic for this morning here, this day here, is that the trumpet should be given a certain sound right now. So this is what we should be doing, given a certain sound. So I want to talk about what is it that we're supposed to be talking about here. And so most naturally, my theme for this week is the oppressor only changes his form and location. There are weaknesses you must address and remove in order to gain the strength to be free. The virus or any virus is there and is dangerous, but your weakness makes the virus more potent. So this is an important thought that, as I say, we're exploring for the rest of this week and started yesterday. And it is important to note that the trumpet has to give a certain sound to warn you and I what is oppressive that's going on, what's the issue that we must face, we must deal with. Because if the trumpet doesn't give a certain sound, or the trumpet is sounding for another issue, when there's an issue running, there's a calamity, there's a problem running that we must face, then we are off our game, so to speak, and then we are putting our effort where the effort is not supposed to be. So the trumpet has to give a certain sound, and the trumpet has to be warning people what is the danger. You know, there was different trumpets sound in the Old Testament and in the time of the children of Israel that warned them, that warned them of certain impending calamity, or warned them that it's time for worship or for assembly. There's various different trumpet sounds. So if the people come out and the trumpeter had warned, he intended to warn, say, so to speak, for worship, but then what ended up happening, he warned the people for war, that they would have presented themselves wrong for worship, and vice versa. If he warned them for war, but he made a mistake and blew the trumpet for worship, and they came out not armed and ready to fight, then there would be a massive slaughter. So there is need to be a warning that goes out for the proper thing, so you can get prepped up for the proper thing. And as we see, this is where church is, because somebody would say, well, why is this the importance of church? Well, why is it the importance of church in my mind is because with church and how church is supposed to be, there's supposed to be religious freedom. So if somebody not warning you, well, somebody's probably in another place is blowing a trumpet and said, this is what's happening. So imagine if you have multiple trumpets blowing off and you're getting all these trumpet sounds and there's different sounds coming. But somebody is blowing the right sound and telling you this is the thing that you need to be careful of. At least you get a sound. So the oppressor always is there to oppress, and he might change his form and location because he's not dealt with properly. Whatever it is that is oppressing people. And so the moment you start to understand the baseline, you start to understand the devil ways and how he does his thing. You start to understand the way how sin works and how it does its thing. Then you make certain calls and you prepare to blow the trumpet for certain things because you know how it works, you know the trouble that's coming. So because this is the job that we have, and we do this job and we try to do it faithfully to the best of our abilities. So Numbers chapter 10 verse 9. Numbers 10 verse 9 says, and if ye go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpet, and ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God, and ye shall be saved from your enemies. Amen. So these are one of our main texts for this week that we'll be looking at. So the trumpet should be given a certain sound. So if you're blowing an alarm, the alarm is that this is what's happening. And this is what you need to prep up for because this is what's going on. And so, most naturally, this is a philosophical talk I'm doing for the rest of the week. But in the backdrop, most naturally, is this idea here of what exactly is the emergency with, say, for instance, the coronavirus. So, in the coronavirus experience, I'm watching it and I'm watching what various different preachers, whether it be in the mainline system or outside the mainline system of churches and our church, what are they saying? What is the trumpet sound they're blowing? What is the blast they're giving? Because there's an alarm and there's an oppressor. The oppressor is not, it's a simpler virus. We don't know the source of it, but we know it's there and it's running. So, what is the trumpet sound the people are supposed to get? What are they preparing for? Because there is an enemy that is oppressing, and there is an alarm that blows to fight the enemy or to deal with the enemy. So, what is the alarm? So, as you know, there's various different people are sounding all kind of alarms. So, there's a lot of alarms blowing. As I say, you're in the walls, city walls, and you woke up one day, and there is just trumpet sound after trumpet sound all over the place. So the trumpet is being blown. There's no question about that. So it's not like the watchmen are not blowing a trumpet. There is just what exactly are they saying you? What is the emergency? So real quickly, as you know, you've been paying attention. The blowing of the trumpet is coming from all quarters. It's coming from secular folk, Christian folk, scientists, politicians. Everybody's blowing a trumpet. What exactly are they telling you? What is the emergency? So some of the emergency real quick, and then you probably know more than me what the emergencies they're blowing. I'm not paying attention to just about everything, but I'm kind of have my hand on the mouse here, looking at what people are saying. But from the secular quarters, most actually they said there's a disease. It went from a epidemic to a pandemic, and they need to have social distancing measure, wash your hands, all of that. And so they blow the trumpet and said, that's how we fight it right now. So they're saying, this is how we fight it. This is how you go to war. This is what's happening. In the Christian world, the response is probably a little bit more diverse. Some of the pastors, they're blowing the trumpet now, and the preachers out there, and they're saying, well, the aim of this is to take away our freedom because they don't want us to worship because the social distancing thing is a problem. And so they're blowing the trumpet, and that's their trumpet call right now. They're standing against the foe, right? Whatever enemy. So that's their clarion cry. Others are saying this is a aim to change our society into a digital society, and they're trying to implement, take away our freedom, especially religious freedom. So they're trying to bring in some type of martial law. Others blew trumpet, as you know, that said that what's happening right now is that they're going to bring in a national guard and they're going to take away our freedom and basically make America a police state. Others are saying that it's just lab made. They're not saying anything else. It's just a lab made, and they go off about the business. Others are saying that it is a global economic crash is going to happen, and we're going to be soon begging in lines and all that. Others are saying, and as I say, you could go down the list. Different people are saying a lot of different things. Some people are saying it's made in a lab. Some people are saying it's in the chemtrail. Some people are blowing alarm about 5G. Some people are saying they have the documentation to prove that it was a plan. Or some people are saying it's just something to be able to see how an experiment to run, to see how they can control the people, right? So a lot of alarms blowing. As I say, there is an enemy. Some people are blowing the alarm saying there is no enemy. There is no such thing as it might be a virus, but it's like the common cold, and that's their burden to bear. To tell people it's just a common cold and it's just a ploy. Yours truly now, me over here. Hopefully that's what I'm going to say next is what my trumpet has been. My thing is I believe it's a serious disease, and you need to treat it and know how to not die from it. So that's my alarm that I'm blowing, whether it be if you go to covenantadvent.org and you look at the videos that I put up there, or Covenant Advent on YouTube, Facebook. So you can get an idea what my trumpet is. So this is what I believe. So I believe that the current trumpet that's supposed to be given, the sound that's supposed to be given, is that there is an oppressor, and the oppressor is a virus, and you need to know how to treat it. And that this is one of the coming health storm that is, some of them are already here and new ones are coming. So if you listen to me regular from week to week, that's the trumpet. I'm concerned about diseases and the suffering that comes from diseases. And so this is where my trumpet is. So the rest of the stuff that I said there, I don't really think that's the trumpet sound. I think the sound that's supposed to be given right now is that there's this thing that is running and it's killing people, and I believe it's really running and killing people. I don't know the source of it. They're still trying to work that out. But until then, my focal point is I'm blowing a trumpet saying, hey, look, you need to know how to treat this naturally, because there is no therapeutics from any pharmaceutical company, and there is no vaccine, or there's no nothing to treat this. And the original way, by the way, that they were treating this disease is try to put people on ventilator, give people oxygen. And most of the people over 65, 97% of the people over 65 in New York City that got that treatment died. So what we're putting out here is very valid, and that's our trumpet sound. Other people are just saying, get your life ready and get ready to meet the Lord. I think that's semi-reasonable. You know, we always have to get our life ready and get ready to meet the Lord, because we could die in the battle. Dying in the battle is never off the table. You know, you could practice everything health-wise and do everything right. You still could die from a disease like this. So you always get your life ready. But certainly we have a health message. And certainly our primary message is not just to tell people to get ready, is tell people how to prevent and how to treat disease. So that is been my trumpet call, just in case. In my mind, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And I know others out there blowing the trumpet for different reasons. I believe that's the trumpet call we're supposed to give in. So the trumpet should be given a certain sound right now. And I believe the focal point right now is not the other stuff that they're saying. The focal point right now is to save lives. Always is. When Christ came, there's a lot of things he could be blowing, but his primary trumpet call was to heal the sick. So we follow Jesus. So again, I'm going to read it again. And if you go to war in a land against the enemy that oppresseth you, I believe right now this is the enemy, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpet. That's the alarm I'm blowing. And you shall remember, and you shall be remembered before the Lord your God. I really appreciate that, and I just love Jesus for that. And ye shall be saved from your enemy. And I believe that. And I say, in a war, some of us will die. But I believe if you fight the battle of the Lord, very few will die. But even the Old Testament, they were fighting righteous battles, and some died. That's just a fact of life. But our numbers won't be like the numbers of others who are blowing the wrong trumpet. Because again, if you're blowing the wrong trumpet, and the only message you have for the people is there's going to be a pending financial crisis, crash. That's a possibility. But at the moment, the focal point is to not die, to prevent and not to treat the disease. The financial crash can come either way. And if you have a lockdown and you can't go to work and all that, whatever going to happen, that way is going to happen. You can't prevent that because you're part of a global economy. You can take care of yourself. But right now, our focal point is this. Notice here, also, my focal point is, if the natural method, which I believe can treat this disease, and I believe will be proven to be able to treat it, and all this stuff, what they're trying to apply is not what people need. What people need is things to take down the inflammation that the disease causes, and actually to boost the immune system to kill it and to clear it from the body. So that's where my belief is. That's where my money and time and effort and prayers are. So if you do this, it will be better for me to spend all my time and money and my trumpet telling people and blow the trumpet. And when they hear the blow the trumpet, they say, what do you say? I need to buy some vitamin D. What do you say? I need to juice. I need to take nature's penicillin. That's what my trumpet is saying. And so that if you do, when and if you do get the disease, that your body won't take a hit from it, or when you come in contact with it, it won't take you down. And if you take you down, you can get back up. So that's to me is the trumpet sound. So I blow that trumpet, and I'm saying this is what you need to do because we don't need to be dying from this thing. But if the more people in my mind, I can blow that trumpet and they can hear it and they can say, "What? I keep blowing." So while the other people are saying, "Oh no, it's 5G," I'm just keep blowing my trumpet because sooner or later people are going to say, "Well, that don't make no sense." When people say it's a hoax, I keep blowing my trumpet. Say, "Hey, look, you need to get some juice in your body. You need to start to get love ginger and oranges and stuff like that." Then, as that's going on, I'm just keep blowing my trumpet because what I'm in my mind is that as the disease roll, that some of the people blowing the trumpet gonna drop dead anyhow because they're blowing the wrong trumpet and the enemy take them out. And I can stay long enough alive to keep blowing that enough people will hear, and hopefully other people keep blowing that same trumpet, not just myself, other watchmen. And we save enough people alive that we end up, by God's grace, avert the impending financial doom that they're saying going to come. Because sure, if the disease just run and kill everybody, well, it's not just going to be an impending doom of finance. It's going to be an impending doom of everybody's dead, right? If we have no method of stopping it. Because I believe it's real. So we're blowing the trumpet and we're saying to each other, I'm saying to you and I'm telling you to go tell your family, hey, look, there is a solution. I'll try this thing, and if it works, good. If it doesn't work, try another thing over here, or try 10 things. And if those things work, well, praise the Lord. You're alive. Let's see what we can do. If there's another problem that comes up from the coronavirus, we're going to hit it also. We're going to keep hitting it and hitting it. But we know that the solution for it is to boost the immune system and to get in your body the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatory natural products to take the inflammation down and give yourself enough time for your body to fight this disease. But other people are somewhere else. I'm over here, I'm going to keep blowing. So we noticed now, for the last few months we've been blowing, that some of the voices that were saying it's a hoax, they have gone quiet. Some of them are saying, oh, it's a common cold. They have gone quiet. Some of the voices that were blowing and say this thing is all a plan to take down the president and make him look bad. Some of them literally died. I'm sure if you watch the news, you see some of these pastors who were hoaxing up the whole thing. They literally dropped dead. So their trumpet is quieting because they dropped dead. So the trumpet just dropped, bling, bling, on the ground. As I said, why the trumpet to drop? He's not blowing anymore. Oh, he's dead. That's why the trumpet dropped, and I heard the noise of the trumpet. So instead of hearing the sound of the trumpet, you hear the trumpet hitting the pavement, right? So this is what's going on. Now we're going to keep watching and seeing how much more these lied trumpeters drop dead and how much of them basically realize that it was fallacy what they're saying. Because to me, and again, if I'm blowing the wrong trumpet, then I'm going to get hit. It's almost like you see, like if I see a sandstorm, you see it's coming in. The aboob, I think they call it, or a beeb, I can't remember what they call it in the Middle East. And you see it's coming in. And all of a sudden, whoosh, it just comes through and wipe. So if I'm blowing the wrong trumpet, I'm preparing for the wrong problem. So I'm going to get rolled just the same way by the aboob, I think it's called. And it just rolls me over too, right? Because whoever blown the wrong trumpet, they too are not protected themselves. But so far, we've seen some of the people who've been blowing the wrong trumpet, God wiped. So we know at least they're off. Hopefully I'm on. Because you're listening to me and I'm encouraging you to blow this trumpet. And some of you have been quite faithful to be blowing a trumpet to your family members and loved ones and people you work with to tell them, protect yourself with some mask and something and disinfect, wash your hands. Go ahead and take some herbal remedies, take some supplements, do some natural things. And so far I've been hearing good testimonies from you about the results. So we keep blowing. What are we going to do? We're not going to stop blowing. So we blow, and we believe the Lord has been remembering us because the Lord has been leading us down the path to focus and to not have the death rate amongst us, what's happening in the general public, because they don't know. They're waiting for their vaccine. So notice here, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Ephesians 6 verse 10 says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So in my mind, I understand that there is spiritual wickedness and there's things that goes on beyond what I can see. Now God sees it all, but unless God gives a vision or communicate via angel or something, I really don't know what's going on behind a wall. Not even Spider-Man has that type of capability, even if the comic book says he does. So we can't see behind a wall. I can't see behind a wall. I can't see, you drive past these Freemason buildings and the windows are blocked out and you can't see inside. It's secret, whatever they're doing in there, which is basically overall devil worship. So you can't see what these devil worshippers are doing. And you can't see what these people are doing in labs and so forth. So I don't know, right? I just know that there's this thing called spiritual wickedness in high places. So my thing is, I can see though the enemy coming, and I can see the storm coming, and I can take precaution, I can take preventative measures, I can protect myself because that I can see. Now I might think in my thinking, I think there's something to do with this, but at the end of the day, what I see coming, my concern, my uppermost concern is there's a troop, there's an army outside the gates. I need to blow the trumpet. I can see that. So as a watchman, I can see that. That is, I'm certain they don't them guys look like enemy. And you can see too if you're looking. If you were looking, you would like, I don't know what this is, but this is rolling. I can't tell you that all the theories that people are blowing for is right or wrong. But what I can tell you is this thing is rolling. I'm gonna prepare for it. You see, this is, so I'm just telling you where my thinking is. My thinking is, if I'm listening to you preaching and you're preaching certain things, I might not know why you're preaching it. I might not know where you got your training, but I know you're preaching it. And I know I need to take up my trumpet and start pa 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 pa, and I blow my trumpet, right? I'm just blowing my trumpet because I'm not concerned even with your name. I'm not concerned what village you were born in, who is your lineage. I don't. None of that means nothing to me. Right? That's why even when you hear me here or preaching, I try not to call names. Sometimes I do mess up and drop a preacher name or a politician name or even mention a president, but I really don't think in that terms. My thinking is the philosophy, is the damage that's been done, is wherever the dead bodies are piling up, is wherever the refugees. And I'm thinking, whatever I say, I need to address that. Now, sometimes I'm addressing it, I have to address the evildoers that are doing it. But it's not the intention because I don't care. What I care about is I see the enemy. I know that's the enemy. We need to focus on the enemy. And we need to pick up our swords and we need to start fighting. In this situation, I believe the sword is some eucalyptus oil. I believe it's some grapefruit and some orange. I believe it's some various different echinacea and golden seal and all that stuff. See, so it is the thing I see that I clearly can see. The other stuff, I don't hurt my head over things that I cannot prove to you, left or right. So somebody said, oh no, we need to focus. The aim of this is to have a financial crash. Well, it could. Like I'm going to tell you something. There is absolutely no need for a financial crash in this thing. The only reason where there'll be a financial crash is if the people who are in the government and the rich people in the Senate decide to make it happen because they're greedy. You can go with the amount of this amount of money in the system. You can prevent whatever you want to prevent. And remember, we're not in a gold standard. We print money in this place. And we have all kind of tools to be able to save institutions. Think about the last 20 years, the amount of time they saved the economy by just washing the system with money to rich people who own major corporations. And they said these corporations are too big to fail. You can do whatever you can. So all of that type of talk, I know, I don't see it that way. So some of it I know that's absolutely madness. They can do what they want to do. Just as how all this talk about, oh, the system going to fail, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, we're going to do a stimulus and we're going to give people money. And money just miraculously appear in people's bank account and appear in the mail. They can do what they want to do. Right? That, like the numbers say, it's just if the heart is there, if the mind is there, you can do it. It's the financial tools are there to take care of the economy. So those type of those trumpets on, I think it's just their boob need to just run over those guys and just wipe them out. And they're like diseases that need to be just swat like flies, because it's just leading the people down the wrong road. It is not dealing with the crisis that is at hand. So the trumpet should be given a certain sound right now, because that's what we're dealing with. And right now, I remember as an example, I got a confirmation yesterday, massive confirmation, or it's okay confirmation. It wasn't big in my mind. It wasn't a problem. When there was a run on toilet paper, I didn't go there run. I didn't panic. It was not one of my concerns. I wasn't like, oh, we're gonna run onto the toilet. Not interested. It is not. It was like foolishness to me. Why? Because I said, no, America make paper products. So it's not going to be a concern. It might be a concern in the future, but so you'd have to give me hard facts. So this was not something that I would tell somebody go out and buy. Never, you never heard me say this. So hopefully I didn't say it, I didn't make a mistake, but I didn't say that. All right, hopefully. In my mind, it was just not a concern, and I voiced at a few people that I don't see it, I can't see it, and I still can't see it because America make paper products. America is a monster when it comes on to making paper products, all types. We have the mills, we have the wood, we have the pulp. We can make it. We make it. So the panic that ensued, it was not. I would not be here on the trumpet telling you blah 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 blah. You say, oh, I think his trumpet is saying that we need to go out and get toilet paper. It's just not. It was not a concern. And so yesterday I went into the supermarket with my wife, and we just walking. We went to buy a few things, but we went with one of the small baskets just to grab a few items that's more fresh. And we said, oh yeah, let's go over to where the toilet paper are. I went over there. We had to snap a picture and send it to everybody because the toilet paper aisle was stacked, like stacked. And I told, and it's stacked. And all night, even I'm going to bed, I'm laughing because my wife texted a few people the picture. I said, take a picture of it and text everybody. And she texted, and then she said, I'm gonna say the eagle has landed. And I was laying in the dark laughing about that statement. The eagle has landed. Because in my mind, that's appropriate. This is America. And I said, man, this is America. We make paper product. We might not make masks because the masks are made in China, but we make paper product. So this is if they turn up those factories, you'll be buried in toilet paper. So I don't know why people are doing panicking. You see, because the trumpet has to give a certain sound. So the sound has to come because you understand what is the emergency. So if everybody panicking and jumping off each other and fighting over toilet paper, I'll be like, what's wrong with these people? Don't they know that if they crank up those factories, they'll be shooting paper towels out of cannonballs, out of cannons. And toilet paper out of whatever they use it as. Whatever they can produce that stuff by you can't imagine, right? So was that a concern? So when I saw that yesterday, I was like, I don't know why people are panicking, right? It is what would have panicked me is what I'm watching what's going on in the factories where people work in close proximity, but not the paper towel factory because that would be a drier environment. So if you have a disease, I'll give you an example in my thinking, right? If you have a disease that is flown by droplets and you're working in a factory that produces meat, which is a disease in that environment that has outbreak and sicknesses on a regular basis. To me, a paper factory will less have an outbreak, in my mind at least. Now, there's probably something I'm not seeing because it's an environment where, it's paper. There's more heat you're working with and dry, something that absorb fluid. You're more in a factory like that have a problem with, humidity, I think, in my mind. So for me, that wouldn't be a concern. For me, the meat factories are a concern. People working close together. It's meat. We don't know if the meat conveys the disease because animals have been proven to catch the disease. It's dead carcass they're working with. And it's a wet environment. The air has to be very moist because you're dealing with something that is of that sort. See, to me, that's the logical way of thinking, right? So that would be my thinking. So that would be more of a concern. So you could have a quicker, easier way to have outbreaks now, which my concern would be outbreaks in the factory. And from those outbreaks, people organically, not because the government forced them, but because of sickness and absentee, you got to shut it down. And what we see happening, that's the place that are in threat because it's just the environment is more conducive for disease that is airborne to flow. Paper factory would not be that big concern. You just mask up and do what you have to do and work, probably, and it'll come. It'll come. So this is not a concern. So to me, the trumpet have to give a certain sound. But if something was presented to me, and I say studying it, I say, oh, I could see these paper factories shut down. So based upon that, there's gonna be a shortage of this. I need to trumpet sound. I need to tell everybody, hey, get ready. This is gonna be a hit. This is not a hit. The masks were a hit because we make them in China. That's a problem. Certain pharmaceutical could be a big problem, and probably already is a big problem because they're made in China. But remember, we still have factories here for those things. So this is the reality, especially in New Jersey. And those factories can turn out a whole boatload of chemicals. So again, the trumpet should be given a certain sound right now. So the question, what is it that you're listening to? And what are the trumpet sound? What are they making you panic about? What are they making you spend money about? Because this is where my concern is that if the trumpet give a wrong sound, you hear the trumpet, you start acting, you act in the wrong direction, and you prepare for the wrong problem. Then you're taking a hit unnecessary. We don't want that. So we want the trumpet to give the right sound. So notice here in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 7, and you probably notice where I'm going to. Makes sense. It's the most logical text for this type of talk, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 7 and 8, I'll read. And it says, and even things without life giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinct, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is piped or harped? So that's logical, right? Before I read my next verse. That's logical. Good morning. Yeah, that's right. You're right about that, brother Ernesto. So how you know, right? You only know because it's given a very distinct sound. There's rules to these things, and if people are playing in an orchestra, and the trumpeter is not doing right, the violinist is not doing right, and they're playing the wrong note, it's just a mess. And that's why conductor is there. That's why there's sheet music, all that stuff, because he's trying to make sure that cue them up. I don't even know what he's doing. He's doing the right thing. God bless him. He keep doing what he does. So verse 8, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So the trumpet is going to sound. Everybody, as I say, the secular people, everybody sees that something is wrong. Everybody's giving a trumpet sound. The news, the YouTubers, the conspiracy theorists, the preachers, everybody's blowing a trumpet. Now, what is the sound they're making? Is it certain what they're making is the right sound? That's the question. So over here, I'm telling you, this is the trumpet sound I'm making. And because this is the dilemma I see. And this is how I see this. So I'm making a call. And I'm saying this is what we're preparing for. Again, same thing. I was saying to people, buy at least a month to 3 months worth of food. I think I was telling everybody buy a month, but I buy three, right? Now, my thinking was if I have to buy more food, I think we have a different problem. You see what I'm saying? In my mind, if you have to buy more than, say, a month worth of supply of food, because as I told you, you want to be less in the stores, especially the older person, you want to less freak in the store and you want to be able to have something just in case there's shortages. You don't be in that situation. So that was my word to everybody. Right. So, but notice I wasn't telling you, I wasn't blowing my trumpet and saying, go buy a year's worth of supply of food. No, probably nobody didn't think why. Because I think if you need a year's supply or more, we in trouble. I don't even know what to advise you at that point. I'm gonna have to fast and pray. I mean, and I'm being honest. You be in big trouble. Because that means that whatever is going on, it would be more akin to a full on just dead bodies piling up, whether it be disease, war, whatever. And I will tell you, say, when whatever is rolling, this is not semi-biblical proportion. This is full Exodus plague, right? I do not believe this is at that level. I believe we're getting close to it because we're told that every disaster or plague that hits the world before the overturn of the American Constitution, let's say it that way, before the mark of the beast, will be mixed with mercy. That's what we were told. So everything happened. I'm always looking for mercy. And I always know that we're not preparing for that yet. But we understand that after that, anything that comes full force. So if this was post mark of the beast, we understand that if a disaster hit, there is no letting up. It means, if there's a hurricane coming, you just know, man, get out of the way. It's going to be a category 5. It could be coming up as a category 1. And it's just going to come up as a category, and all of a sudden overnight it's going to turn category 5 and just everybody's dying. That's what we understand. So when somebody come along and blow the trumpet and say, oh yeah, this is going to be a financial collapse, total collapse, I'll be like, they don't read the Bible. They don't understand. That's not what we're looking for right now. It's not happening. So I don't blow the trumpet that way. And in the future, coming next quarter, when you watch Coming at Advent, that's what I'll be talking about in the evenings. I'm talking about some of these prophecies because I'm really perturbed at how people just ignore biblical rules and say God's going to destroy jot and tittle out of the Bible when Jesus said not one is going to come, not one is going to be overturned. Everything that is prophesied will happen the way he says it. But I know many people have told me over the years, oh, you don't know, it's God. He can do what he want to do. But how he's going to go against himself? If he says, even Revelation ends by saying, don't change the word of Revelation, and he's going to overturn his own self, that don't sound like God, right? It sounds like man. So I'm holding it here because when you think about it, this is how we understand everything. Look, this flu season was mild. One of the mild. It was still tough, but I think it was mild. Let's just say it this way. Why? Because many people were catching flu and dying from the flu was not flu. We have in the Northeast here, we had the mildest winter on record. I think since they've been keeping record or close to it. Check it out. January, February in the Northeast was amazingly warm. We hardly had no snow. That's probably bad for the future when it comes on to the aquifers. But I believe that was the mercy of God. I believe from January, February, I said something is going on. See, that was the other thing that spooked me. In January, February, like something is wrong. Why is it so warm? Why is there no snow? But I kept on thinking, every disaster that hits us in the world before the mark of the beast is mixed with mercy. So I'm always looking for the mercy because I know the less the mercy is, 3 months worth of supply of food not going to help you. We have bigger problems. We not just have what man is doing, we have what God is doing to deal with wicked people. Right now, God is being merciful to us. Even though bodies are piling up, God is still being merciful. This thing could have been worse. Mark my word, that's my trumpet call for this one. So the trumpet should be given a certain sound. So when the oppressor, whatever the oppressor is, one need to blow the trumpet and say, hey, there's oppression going on. Prepare yourself. So if you're hearing the wrong trumpet, you're preparing for the wrong thing. And you might get hit because you didn't prepare. I remember people ask me, say, is it time to buy a house? I said, no, that's not time to buy a house right now. I said, why? I said, man, you don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be quite a few people that die. There's going to be an economic downturn. We don't know where this is going to land, how it's going to land, but it's going to land. And whenever it's landing, you know what to do. Now is the time to hunker down, don't make no move. But if you're listening to somebody, you'll be like, I'm going to sell my house, I'm going to buy a country home, I'm going to just upturn my life because this, just hold on. You don't know. I can't even tell you. I don't know. And I look at these things all the time. So the trumpet has to give a certain sound. If you give an uncertain sound, it make people do the wrong thing. Notice here in Ezekiel and Again, you could know this one. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1 through 9. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, I love this because you're speaking to people of children of your people. We're in this together. And so if I'm giving a wrong call, well, I'm going to be affected too, right? I'm in the city. I'm on the wall. Probably the sword that's coming, going to hit me first. You know, if I'm telling you, hey, look, this is what's going on. All of a sudden, somebody from the outside of the city wall throw a javelin, whack. I get the sword first. So I have a vested interest into making the right call because we all together. I'm one of us. We all together. It's we. So if I'm over here saying, hey, what's going to happen is this. And, imagine if I believe that this is going to be whatever, and I abandon my house, go find a cabin in the mountains, and I'm there hunkering down, nervous, listen to my AM radio or listen to my AM radio for the news, and then I hear, well, the peak is gone, and I made tell all of you, hey, run to the hills, this is happening, and y'all run and give up your job, and boy, I feel so bad right now. And I know some people did something similar because the trumpeter were trumpeting wrong. But we all here together. And so I have a vested interest because I'm on top of the wall. They're throwing the javelins and fiery darts at me first because they want me to stop blowing the trumpet. So I don't warn the people. They want to hit me first and take me out first. Because if they had taken me out first, then you inside at a lower level, you can't see what's going on outside. And then next thing you know, you're getting chopped up. So the Son of Man, speak unto the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman. So let's break that down a little bit right here, right? Because this is sweet. Somebody could say to me, Lloyd, again, it's from a lab. Well, bro, there's so many things that came from a lab. There's so many accidents that happened in the last 5 years. You go back in the news and look at the amount of accidents happen. And we don't know if it's fake accidents or real accidents, but where people could have been infected with serious disease, anthrax, stuff like that. Nothing happened. Nothing really happened, Unless probably you're some Russian agents and you're killing people they always poison people. So anyhow, nothing really happened, right? Or when I say nothing happened, it never get to a certain point. There's so many diseases outbreak, and it just contained in the local area. MERS, SARS, Ebola. All right, and we watched all of those. I was paying attention. But I was concerned how to treat it still. I was still doing the same thing. Now, something about this one, I kept on feeling this thing is going to run. It's not going to stop. Right? This was my for various different points of information. I was like, I don't think this is going to be like these other diseases. This is going to run. And it kept on running. Right? And I keep saying, yeah, it looked like it's going to run because of some of the information I was looking at. And I seemed to be convinced that it was going to run. And it kept on running. Then I said, no, it's here. It's not running. This thing is here and it's killing people already. It's been killing people from last year. But see, that was my trumpet call. So I'm telling you this because I want you to see the line of reasoning. Because remember the Bible says, no interpretation of prophecy is of any private interpretation. So the methodology, and I'm going to read this to you in a few minutes before we close. I'm going to read to you Isaiah. The methodology, I'm emphasizing how I'm seeing it. Because I was going to say, are you touting your disability? No, I'm just trying to tell you, no interpretation of prophecy is of any private interpretation. So if I'm seeing it, you can see too. It's nothing special going on here. Right? You have a brain, I have a brain. It's just you need to understand the methodology. And the moment you understand the methodology, you'll be able to see these things and come to your own conclusion. Just in case I'm on the wall blowing the trumpet and I get a fiery dart or I get a javelin in my head and I drop dead. You're supposed to be able to jump up on the wall, look over and say, well, based upon the calculation he explained, okay, I think I see the trumpet. I think I see the enemy coming. And you start blowing the trumpet. You could pick up my trumpet and start blowing it. That's the aim, right? Christ taught his disciples and the disciples taught it. So that's what we're here for. We're here as a meeting, so to speak, of mine. Because many of you I talk to you outside of these morning programs. So you can see it for yourself, right? Because, none of us have a life eternal until Christ died or unless Christ come and translate us. So we pass it down, the knowledge down from one to the other. So you too can know. This is the methodology, I'm telling you. The methodology is that you ought to learn to know the trouble coming. And so notice here now, what is the big point here I want to bring in verse 2? God allows it. So also we have to know that there is an understanding of disease when it comes on to the root of the disease, the epidemiological studies that scientists do. But scientists, for the most part, they believe, that they evolve. We apply a secondary principle to it, which is God. Now, notice it's God who bring the sword. But somebody said, no, it's the people over there, they're coming to attack us. Yeah, but why God allows them? Why the God doesn't stop it? And the big question people ask, why God allow evil? So although we know the devil does things, but the story of Job teaches us a very important thing, that it was the devil wanting to destroy Job, but God allowed it. So at the end of the day, God didn't stop certain things. Along the way, there was different things that God could have done to stop whatever, but it didn't. So it says God, remember in Joel chapter 2, God says, I'm the one that sent the locusts. He says, this is my great army. He said, what? The locust is God's army? And God said, yeah, this is my army. When I send a plague, when I send a whatever, when I send the sword. But somebody said, but it's such an army attacking us. Yeah, but somehow God allowed it. God sometimes ordained it. God sometimes send the fire directly, not even make a secondary source send it. In Sodom and Gomorrah, he said these rapists has to be burnt up. And that's how they burn up these rapists. And you might disagree, but God says he does it. So we want to understand what was going on. So we look at it from a more moral point of view, not just a diet and lifestyle point of view, a scientific point of view. We go a step further. So we make calls based upon this knowledge that we have, that the scientists will never have, because they're just looking at it from a scientific point of view. And the conspiracy theory looking at it from a lab point of view. We're looking at it from a point of view of why now? Why God make it happen now? This could have happened 3 years ago or 10 years ago. Why now? See, we look at it from a deeper point of view. So that's what we're sharing here. So see for time, we keep going. So if when you see the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn his people. This is the watchman. So notice here, they set a man of their coast and set him as their watchman. And if when he sees the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever hear the sound of the trumpet and take it not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood be upon his own head. So we pause there. So if I'm telling you, hey, this is serious, take it serious, and somebody's blow ba 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 and blow the trumpet and they say ain't serious, and you say, oh, I ain't gonna take no warning. I'm gonna ignore Lloyd over there, ish, with his weak preaching about health, and then whap, and you drop dead. Well, blood be upon your head. Verse 5, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. So you still have to deliver your own soul, because me up on the thing, I'm like, man, I'm over here, I'm have to deliver my own soul too. I'm just telling you, hey, deliver yourself. Verse 6, but if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman hand. So if the watchman is saying, as I say, this to me can be applied to uncertain sound. If the watchman is telling you, oh, what you need to prepare for is financial doom. So you take all your money from your bank, you do everything, you hold on to the money, you start to buy stuff to prepare for financial doom. You probably run out of town and gone to the mountains. And you didn't take warning. And I'm telling you, no. Right now, what you need to do is prepare to get the disease. You need to spend that money that you're hoarding to take care of your body. You need to start going every day and walking for 1 hour. Lose some weight. Now, you weren't doing that. I didn't blow the trumpet. So, thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. So this is important job that I'm thinking is for me is life and death. Somebody else is just to get donation. For me, this is about life. I was doing this before. There was no donation, and I'll do it without donation because I've proven myself. This horse has been running for a while, and all this stuff I've been doing before. So you don't send me $5, I'm still on here warning you. I do it for free because I did it for free before, and I do it for money. I do it. I do it. Whatever. I get paid. I don't get paid. I'm gonna do it. Don't matter. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them for me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, notice there, it's a sword issue, but the issue is about make sure that you're prepared to die. Make sure your soul is prepared. It's a warning. Why? We preserve life because we want to always know that the person who's dying by God's grace, they die in Jesus. And many times when there's an emergency, people are not prepared. They get before the final trump the message. He who is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he who is righteous, let him be unrighteous still. Many times when these things come, you're unprepared. I'm gonna give you a quick example because I want to lose this. They claim, I need to find a documentation on this, that they were picking up fourfold more bodies dead at home in New York City than they normally would. And many of them were in their 30s and 40s, and many of them died from stroke. So when you keep that in mind, fourfold. Also, I saw the documentation for this. They were picking up 8 times more people off the side of the street. Homeless people were dying. So what does that tell you? You have a person 30, 40s dying of a stroke. Bam, he's out. Let him who's filthy, let him be filthy still, and let him who's righteous, let him be righteous still. He just died without warning. So that's the problem with that. Because what happened? This disease is coagulating the blood, making the blood can't flow. And people are dying immediately. So there's no prep up for them to prep their soul and get their soul right with God. They just die immediately. So that's why the watchman have to be on the wall, because the aim is not just to prepare for disease, the aim is to prepare your soul. But if you got the wrong warning, all you're talking about is, oh, it's from a lab, there's no moral arc to that. So, but I'm still telling you that lab or no lab, God has to allow it. Somebody say, you mean God has to allow it? What I mean is this, that God is still God. So if somebody was planning to release it from a lab, I'll give you an example. God could just make the person die the day before. God could cause a fire, whatever, earthquake to come and take the whole lab out and stop it. Whatever he wants, he still allows. So, someone say, yeah, but the devil has so much power. Yeah, but can't do stuff unless God allows. And then God will reveal. So we go back. So you have to warn the man. So when we look at this happening, somebody say, oh no, it's just people with comorbidities and people who are older. Really? As I said, they were picking up bodies that were people that were below 65, 30s and 40s. And that is being confirmed. And that's why they were burying so many homeless people in the potter's field, because that much more homeless people were dying. Minimum at least 5 times more. So somebody say, oh, it's like a common cold. Yeah, but a common cold don't cause the death of so many poor people or homeless people in the winter. So this is something not like that. But there's many people blowing the trumpet and say, oh, it's a common cold. Just go about your business. Nothing is wrong. And then whack. So notice here, when I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou not speak to warn the wicked from his ways. That wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way, to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall surely die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So he connects it. He says, you preacher, you're connected with him. If you warn him and he dies, you're good. If you don't warn him and he dies, you're in trouble. And we see this. This text I wanted to go to before we close out. Notice here Isaiah 28 verse 5 through 10. Isaiah 28 verse 5 through 10. So as we're talking about here, the trumpet should give a certain sound. If you give the wrong sound, the person don't prepare. They don't prepare their heart and their minds. They don't prepare their life. Notice here, Isaiah chapter 28, verse 5 onward. It says, "In that day shall the Lord of hosts be for a crown of glory, and for a diadem of beauty, unto the residue of his people," the remnant, the residue, those who are left back, "and for a spirit of judgment to him that sitteth in judgment, and for a strength to them that turn the battle at the gate." So there's a battle at the gate, and there has to be judgment. There has to be a person that's sitting in judgment. There has to be a spirit. And if the wrong spirit is there, the wrong judgment is there, then the wrong call is going to make. So a lot of this has to do with call. So as I say, I'm looking at this retrospect, looking over what has happened over the last few months from February till now. And I'm looking at it in retrospect because I'm seeing what the calls were made and what the decisions were made. I remember we talking about the importance of the church. I'm seeing what the mainline church was saying. All they're saying was, don't panic. That's all. Don't panic. Or they're saying, or some of the independent brethren are saying, oh no, this is what's going to happen. They're going to cause this to happen and cause it. And all kind of panic. I'm looking back. And you have to look back at these calls. You have to have a memorial stone to set up. I'm setting up a memorial stone here. Just look what happened. And look how the people reacted. I knew somebody that got up and run out of here, got an RV, and head down south because they were afraid that people were going to get arrested. I know people flee to the mountains. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Oh, because their trumpeter was telling them that's what they need to do. So the spirit of judgment is important. So you notice, for a spirit of judgment upon him that sitteth in judgment, and for strength for him that turned the battle at the gate. This is what needed, because there's a battle going on. Verse 7 says, "But also they have erred through wine and through strong drink." Some of this could be false wine from conspiracy theories. They've drank too much of that from Babylon. They're drinking some of Babylon theory and don't know it. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. You know, this strong drink can be both physical and spiritual in the Bible. Here it is literal physical strong drink. And they have swallowed up wine. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way from through strong drink. They erred in vision and stumble in judgment. So this is what we literally seen. But we see this because they're drinking too. Some of them are drinking literal alcohol. Some of them in secret. Some of them are literally partaking of strong false teachings that are making them cause people, they're causing them to blow the wrong trumpet because they're drunk with false doctrines. And they might sound like, oh yeah, this is national assault because they're talking about a biblical topic and they're calling it right now when it's not happening. So I say because they're drinking too much false doctrine. And when you check out some of these guys, they're replete with false doctrine. Although they're talking about biblical passage, they may keep making wrong calls because they have false teachings that pushing them to make these wrong conclusions. For all the tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there are no place clean. Whom shall we teach knowledge? And whom shall we make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. We teach the whole thing. We don't teach one topic. If you teach one topic, you're breaking this rule. And what's going to happen, because you're so one topic focused, that you're just going to think everything, you'll see everything, and you go make a trumpet call, the same trumpet call over and over again because you have false doctrines. But when you do precept on precept, here a little, there a little, line upon line, you're more broad and you have a bigger understanding, a broad-based understanding of what's going on. So you don't blow the trumpet and get people to do berserk things. As I say, people I know listen to certain trumpeters and do the wildest and weirdest things. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Why they don't get themselves some, hand sanitizers and stuff, and that's what they need to worry about. Luke 13, verse 23 and 24, we close, and this says, "Then said one unto him, Lord, are there few that be saved? And he said unto them, Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in, and shall not be able to." I pray to God that you may enter it on a straight gate, and you may go through the narrow way, and that God may bless you with this, and you might not partake of all these trumpeters that are making fools of people. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, I thank you for the blessings of your word. I thank you for the blessing of your principles that you teach us. not to be narrow and fanatical in our understanding, but to be broad and to apply line upon line, precept upon precept, and here a little, there a little. May we be faithful to this and not be fanatical in our study. This is my prayer in Jesus' name, amen. Thanks for being with me here on Revive Reform Radio. Looking forward to talking to you again live tomorrow morning, where we should talk about natural health. Until then, I pray that you may continue to walk with the King.